Welcome everyone to Mailed Fuzz News. I am Peter, that is Tara, and this is your, I think I said this last week actually, but your rare Monday edition of the news, because there was news that we didn't quite get to just before the weekend. A surprisingly busy couple of days, which have some interest. I mean, I'm not going to say they're all interesting because Tara's going to bite my head off and start telling me how uninteresting some of them are, but there's some interesting stuff in here. So we shall start with something very Scottish. So there's going to be a Highlander reboot. I don't know if you saw this in news, but apparently Henry Cavill is in talks to star in this Highlander reboot.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, Christopher Lambert did not sound remotely Scottish. He has the weirdest accent known to man. But at the very least, it was so weird that it was kind of funny that he was just supposed to be Scottish. Having yet another English actor doing a Scottish character potentially is just kind of tiring and like, it happens a lot.
Yeah. So it's disappointing as a Scotsman.
On principle, I wouldn't say I cared that much about the Highlander reboot.
Well, how do you feel about Henry Cavill? Just in general,
as an actor,
do you like him? Yeah,
I think he's all right. Like he was good in the Mission Impossible movie he was in. He could be a good Superman.
He's got the look.
He's got to look. If when he's in interviews and he's smiling, he feels like Superman. He doesn't feel like Superman in any of the movies that he plays Superman in because he doesn't get allowed to actually play Superman. He's playing moody murder man. But
I don't know anything about Highlander. Never watched it. Don't know who this actor is that you're talking about. But I mean, I like Henry Cavill enough.
Well, the first thing you
seems okay
to know about Highlander is that there can only be one.
I have heard that.
Yes. It's basically just all these immortals killing each other because whenever they kill someone or kill another immortal, they get their power and they become stronger. So it's all about whittling down to the final immortal who
sounds very Scottish.
Becomes super powerful or something. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's that. So John Wick director Chad Stahelski's going to direct it, and Kerry Williamson has written the script. So maybe the John Wick director being behind it maybe gives you an idea that the combat's going to be a bit more stylish and fancy, perhaps. So, I don't know. So, I mean, maybe they'll do something where they just don't have a Scottish main character, but it is called Highlander. So, I mean,
you should be from the Highlands.
You kind of expect it. You kind of expect it. So, hey. Of course, Sean Connery was in the original Highlander as well, although he notably did not play a Scottish character, just to make matters confusing. My name is Ramirez, and I'm a Spaniard. It's like one of his first lines of dialogue as well. We'll move on though. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to fire on. So Batgirl is a movie is still happening apparently, even though I don't believe it's happening yet because...
Is it like a Lego movie?
I'm afraid not. But Warner Brothers have been promising like 100 different DC movies at this point. But they've got directors for Batgirl. The directing duo of Adil El Arbi and Balal Falah, who directed Bad Boys for Life, of all things, are apparently have been hired to direct the standalone Batgirl movie, which will follow Barbara Gordon. So,
Bad Boys for Life wasn't Michael Bay?
No, he didn't do that. He had a cameo because I watched it. No, I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it like much later. He has a cameo at the start where he gives like a really bad speech at a wedding. And I thought, is this maybe like a sort of meta joke because of that one time he came out on stage and got like freaked out and left mid speech? Yeah, it's weird.
That was a great breakdown.
Only because these movies are so terrible.
I like The Rock, although it's been a long time.
I mean, The Rock was entertaining, yes, but I mean that's pretty early on in the career. That's There's just been a lot of turds in the last decade or two.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me.
I won then. So Christina Hodson wrote the script, and apparently this has now been planned as a movie for HBO Max. I don't know when that get added to this. It was just a normal theatrical movie when it first started being reported. So I guess somewhere along the lines, I mean, maybe that's more of a guarantee that it'll happen. But it also means that it's not going to be that big either. Comparatively, it'll be, a made-for-streaming movie now. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah, maybe the pandemic has forced this hand.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or if they're just doing more stuff for HBO Max. I mean, I will say that Batgirl as a character doesn't have superpowers and doesn't tend to fight supervillains who are doing things like, lifting up boats and stuff. So it's not like, from a budget perspective, it can't be really good with a lower budget, because it should be able to. But yeah, it's kind of weird having a standalone Batgirl movie in the sense, like, they have to reference the fact that Batman existed. Otherwise, how did she become Batgirl? I mean, her whole thing is that she's inspired by Batman. So I don't know.
We shall see.
Okay. News story number 2.
It's written by a lady. That's okay, huh?
Yeah. I have defaults.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of DC, The Rock, who of course is going to be Black Adam, has been cast technically as another DC role. He is going to voice Crypto in the DC League of Super Pets animated movie. Yes.
Yay.
Did you forget this was happening? Because I did.
I didn't know that was a thing.
No, I remember it being announced, but it was a while ago now. But yeah, they're doing an animated League of Super Pets, so The Rock is going to voice.
Are they going to have the kitty cat with the red ring?
Oh, I don't know. They'll have Streaky the Super Cat, I'm sure. I don't know if they'll have Dexter though.
That would be a good villain.
It could be the villain. What if there's like a kitty Legion of Doom, like the team of villainous pets?
That's so adorable.
Who else would you have on the villainous pets though? I'm trying to think of who else.
I mean, there's lots of apes, but
yeah, but I don't know if I'd count like a Gorilla Grodd as a pet. He's kind
it would have to be Dexter, right? He would be like the big overarching villain. Be like Mojo Jojo.
I mean, that'd be great. I would love Dexter to be the villain of the Super Pets movie, but I don't know. I'm not willing to buy it. I can't wait till we get a confirmed list of what the pets are. Like, because I expect Crypto and Streaky for sure. Comet the Super Horse, maybe. Maybe the Bat Hound, perhaps. But a lot of them are super focused, which is why I'm like, where else are they going to take from? But is Batcow going to be in it? These are questions that need to be asked.
Boy, those comic book writers sure were reaching for things.
I mean, Batcow was mostly just a joke. Like, there was just a cow in the Batcave, which Damien started calling Batcow. It's not like the cow was actually doing any, What
about that mechanical T-Rex in the Batcave?
Again, a bit big for a pet. This is my stance. Here's something. Are you a fan of Hocus Pocus?
Yes. I know this news. I was excited for it.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 is officially on. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, is that how you say her name? Are coming back for the sequel. Disney Plus are doing this. Hocus Pocus 2 is set for release in 2022. In October, no less. So
ooh. It is exciting because they all like had tweets about it and stuff, and Disney Plus put out a poster with their tweets and how
we don't actually know if
they were to come back.
Yeah, we don't know if it's October. I said October because it mentioned October here. It was because they originally announced that it was happening back in October. That said, though, I think October is a pretty good guess. If they don't put this out in October, they're fools. But yes, I enjoyed the original Hocus Pocus growing up. It was a little
it's a fun movie.
It's a gateway horror movie, I suppose. Plus, anything with a talking cat usually gets bonus points on my. Yeah. And given the way that story ended, I don't think we can have Binks back. I would assume they might have a new talking animal to replace Binks, but I don't know.
Hopefully Doug Jones comes back as the zombie.
What about was Hilary Swank not like the little kid in that? No, it wasn't Hilary Swank. Who was it? Who was the little girl? The little girl grew up to be someone.
Yeah. I don't know her name.
Is it her from American Beauty? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, Hilary Swank was the next Karate Kid.
Yeah.
It's funny how my mind, the things cross. But yeah, so the trio of witches are back, even though, mild spoiler, they all kind of, died.
Turned to dust.
At the end of the first movie. So we'll see how they pull that
spoiler.
off. Yeah. Are they going to write it into the plot as to why they all look older? Are they going to be like, we need souls, we're looking old?
That's how it worked before. They have de-aging technology now, especially Disney.
Yeah,
They've
but
nailed it.
Before it was like heavy makeup to make them look really disgustingly old, whereas now they're just going to look normal old.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm excited for it. I mean, it was a fun movie. If they can do it again, I think, it could be fun. There've been some good Hocus Pocus adjacent films recently, like The House with the Clock in its Walls or something like that, and the Goosebumps movie was all right. Something trying to hold on to that style of kid horror.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be a little cynical because Disney are doing sequels and reboots of every goddamn thing under the sun, but I don't necessarily see why a Hocus Pocus successor couldn't be fun. So
yeah, and they got everyone back, and they all had excited tweets. So I got into the hype for it.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be some sort of meta joke about Sex in the City because of what's her face?
I don't think so. Sarah Jessica Parker?
I don't know, it'll be a joke. They'll do something like a cauldron in the city or something.
Just a cauldron full of Cosmopolitan.
I don't know. I can just see there'll be a joke. I don't know. Anyway, it's not like Bette Midler's done anything in the last 25 years.
She's a treasure.
I'm not saying she's not, but Sarah Jessica Parker's the one who's had the career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even really been a wide career. It's just been one thing. It's one big thing she became really famous for.
Right.
But hey. Next up, remember how there was Knives Out casting news every day? Well, there's 3 of them here. They just quickly tell you about. So One Night in Miami star Leslie Odom Jr. has been added to the cast of Knives Out 2. So that's one. Kate Hudson, who apparently is a rom-com person, but I've heard the name before. I don't think I've ever actually seen her in anything. But she's been added to the cast of Knives Out 2.
You haven't seen Almost Famous?
I haven't, no.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not really a rom-com.
And that was all of them. I said 3 because I had the same tab twice because I'm a fool, apparently. But there you go. So 2 more casts added for Knives Out 2.
Well, okay.
We move on. Paramount has acquired The Time Runner, a novella by Wes Ball. A novella that Wes Ball will develop to direct. Steve Desmond and Michael Sherman will write the script. Sherman, who's co-writing the script, also wrote the novella. So, let's go from Oddball Entertainment. The storyline has been kept under wraps. Okay. So
Can people not read the novella?
It's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's one of these. They do this a lot now. We've been seeing this more and more with movies and TV where they're optioning books and stuff before they even come out. They're sort of predicting what's going to be a hit and try thingies. So there you go. Quick. I didn't realize there was a description in that one, so that was a pretty quick one. Next up, we have Decal secured the worldwide distribution rights to Ride the Eagle, an indie comedy with New Girl star Jake Johnson, starring alongside Susan Sarandon, and J.K. Simmons. So this is a Trent O'Donnell directed film. It'll be coming out day and date release, digital and theatrical, on July 30th. So it follows Leaf, who is left with a conditional inheritance when his estranged mother, Honey, dies. Before he can move into her picturesque Yosemite cabin, he has to complete her elaborate and sometimes dubious to-do list. Leaf and Nora, his canine BFF, step into Honey's wild world as she tries to make amends from beyond the grave in a heartfelt comedy.
Fun adventure centered around Yosemite could be cool.
It's a good cast. It doesn't mention specifically who J.K. Simmons is playing.
Probably the final boss.
maybe her lover, who she's going to reveal to her son after dying. Because I assume it's not a husband, because otherwise, unless they're long divorced or something,
you would know.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's a nice cast, if nothing else. Hopefully, it's good. All right. Tara yawned, so it's not that interesting. We'll move on. Next up, Jade Taylor. Known for her role as Katie on the sci-fi show The Magicians, is going to write and direct a film adaptation of a best-selling novel called Twisted Crow: A Tale of a Broken Kingdom, by L. Dubois. The novel is an intimate tale of domestic violence in which Dubois' character chronicles her true story of survival at the hand of a sociopath and narcissist. The characters mirror the stereotypical ideal of happily ever after and the false narrative individuals will present in an effort to hide their truth from those they love the most. So a cheery, happy story, feel-good film, which everyone's going to feel great about.
Sounds like Nicole Kidman's character in Big Little Lies.
I can see the comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen The Magicians, but it is interesting. It's always interesting to see an actor's going to direct something.
There's something about the name that makes me want to repel from it as fast as possible.
Because magic sucks. Yeah, I agree.
Magician.
We demand to be taken seriously.
A whore does for money or candy.
I love how we both spoke at the same time, but we both made Arrested Development references. Next up, so Dana O. Puzik, I probably butchered that name, is set her directorial debut with A24. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to star in it. You love her though. Why are you yawning?
I can't stop yawning. We've reached a certain point in the evening where I just can't stop. I do love her. She's my spirit animal.
So, yes, Lola Pettigrew is going to co-star opposite Dreyfus as her daughter. So, yeah, this is a mother-daughter fairy tale, but the plot has been kept under wraps. Okay.
So get excited.
Hey, it just means it's quick and we can move on, alright? That's all that means.
Yep.
Quick, we can move on. Next up, Warner Bros. Is going to remake The Hunger, the 1983 vampire film.
I watched that movie.
Which was from the late Top Gun director Tony Scott.
Tony Scott, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very sexy film.
Oh, okay. Angela Robinson is in final talks to direct, with Jessica Strazer writing the script. The original film starred Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie and Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon's name again. So, Miriam Blaylock, the last of a race of vampires, lived thousands of years feeding off the blood of victims. The bloodsucker has told her lovers she will give them immortality by injecting them with her extraordinary blood. In truth, eventually they age, and when it does, it happens rapidly, sending them towards an eternal undead state. When the vampire's lover begins to show signs of aging, she seeks the help of a scientist who specializes in blood and thinks he's found a breakthrough bestowing eternal youth. The vampire seduces the scientist. The film was atmospheric and sexy. This is opinion from Deadline. This has stopped being a description and started being opinion.
It's not your typical Tony Scott movie, for sure.
Interesting. I have not seen it. I saw a film, I'm sure it's got a very similar title, with Christopher Walken.
It's got a very music video feel to it, actually, when you watch it.
The Addiction? Is that what I'm thinking of? The Christopher Walken movie from the mid-90s? I think that's what I'm thinking of.
I haven't seen it.
But it's in black and white, and the hunger makes me think of it, for whatever reason. But also a vampire movie as well. It's not like it's just a black and white movie that happens to be like
atmospheric.
Yeah. So cool. All right. I mean, remaking is remaking. I'm not particularly fussed about it, but do you think they'll try to like lead into the sexiness too much and just try to make it a hip movie that teenagers are going to all love and be like, hey, come see X actor be sleazy and sexy?
I mean, it'll make you want to watch the original one because you get to see Catherine Deneuve and Susan Sarandon get it on. Get lots of boobage.
Oh.
To be classy, you know. But it's filmed very classy. Very stylistic.
Oh, sure. If you're going to have boobage, you have to have classy boobage.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Don't want to cross that line between art and porn.
Don't want to cross the streams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or you end up with an exploding state plus marshmallow man with just everything falling everywhere. Yes.
Nasty business.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Lauren Schuker Bloom and Rebecca Angelo have signed on to write MGM's adaptation of Ben Mesrich's The Antisocial Network. Before I tell you what this is about, this is a book about a true thing that happened. What do you think this is about before I tell you? Just The Antisocial Network. What does that tell you?
Antisocial Network.
It's an event that you will know about when I tell you about it.
And I don't know.
This is the story of how Reddit decided to mess with Wall Street over GameStop and completely broke Wall Street for like a week.
Oh, okay.
It's that story.
Like an Adam McKay version of it where
yeah, basically.
Margot Robbie's gonna sit in a hot tub and talk about GameStop stock.
I'll see it, sure.
Yeah, big sell, I'm sure.
Well, the best thing about that in The Big Short is that at least when I went to see it, I had no idea there was going to be those moments. So when it just casually said, just to make this more interesting, here's Margot Robbie in a hot tub. I was like, okay, all right. Sure. I'm not surprised. It feels so quick that this is happening because this was literally just months ago. This happened.
Yeah.
So someone churned out a book pretty quickly about this event. There you go.
Well, as a former GameStop employee, I'm excited to see them on the big screen. Finally.
Yeah, I mean, GameStop themselves are a bit of the butt of the joke in a lot of ways because it was just to prove, like, how do you prove that Wall Street's nonsense and the stock market's a bunch of nonsense? Well, you do it by taking GameStop, a company that is definitely not in its prime, and you turn it around like it's nothing.
Yep.
Let's face it, if Blockbuster was an option, they'd have probably went with Blockbuster. But it's probably not officially on the market anymore. That's my guess.
Doubtful. I think they have like one store somewhere for nostalgia reasons.
Yes, but it's more like a museum now. You go to the Blockbuster museum to see what it was once like, to browse the video store. All right, next up, Tony Todd. You know him.
All right.
He's been in Candyman and Final Destination.
Kern.
And yes, he's also been in some Star Trek. As a Klingon. Tobin Bell, who you might know from the Saw films. He is the titular Saw. I'm kidding. Jigsaw. He's Jigsaw. I just thought it'd be funny. And Chelsea Edmondson, who's from Thunder Road, apparently, although I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, I watched that movie.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go.
That's the Jim Cummings film.
Oh, I want to see it then. I want to see it. Oh.
Yeah.
His newer film, The Wolf of Snow Hollow, was fantastic.
Right.
So anyway, they've all been cast in a sci-fi horror film. So that's maybe one we do on this. It's called The Bunker. and it's shooting currently. Written by Charles Bunce and Brian Hansen, and directed by Hansen, who previously did The Black String. Not familiar with it. The bunker is set during a mysterious alien invasion. A government scientist, played by Edmondson, is sealed in an underground bunker and must create a bioweapon to stop the mysterious travelers before they take over Earth.
Sounds good.
Now, I know some of these cast members, however, they're also cast members who are willing to do trash.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get Tony Todd and put him in your, A-list movie. So it does sound good, but it also sounds like it could be trashy good.
I'm going to say that trashy good's the best case scenario. It's either going to be trashy good or just complete trash.
Right.
And it could surprise us. Yeah.
But you're not on any list.
It could surprise us and be a gem, but I'm not banking on it at this point, or I'm not bunking on it.
Mm-mm.
That was golden, Next up, Anne Hesh and Skeeter Ulrich, who you may know from Scream. He was Billy in Scream, the Scream film. Yes, although the youngins might know him from Riverdale though, because he was on Riverdale.
Anne Hesh from that 6 Days, 7 Nights movie with Harrison Ford.
I'll take your word for it. I've not seen it, but
or for her brief affair with Ellen DeGeneres.
Did Ellen?
I think that's right.
Did Ellen cheat on
Portia? No. This was before Portia.
Okay.
This was like Anne Heche was like on the rise because she was dating Ellen, and then they broke up, and she wasn't a lesbian anymore.
Damn, Ellen. Wait, what?
And then Anne Heche was like, "Oh, I don't like women anymore."
Oh, she decided it was a phase, I suppose.
It seemed a little bit like, at least the media was framing it like she used Ellen to get fame so that she can get into movies, and then once that happened, they broke up.
Purely
and
speculation.
Then she wasn't lesbian anymore.
Purely speculation, though. Okay.
It was a big deal in like the 90s.
All right.
Early 2000s.
Well, I don't know her, but judging from the photo of her, I will say that Ellen DeGeneres has a type.
Yeah.
She's definitely into the blondes. I'll say that.
Yeah. Portia is definitely an upgrade, though.
So she and Skeet, my good friend Skeet, we're on first name basis. They have joined Alec Baldwin in a natural disaster adventure film called Supercell. It's already in production. There's a bunch of other sort of no names joining the cast too. But the description is what you're really here for. So Supercell tells the thrilling tale of William, a good-hearted teenager who lives in the hope of his living in his father's footsteps, or following his father's footsteps. The legendary storm chaser Bill Brody, who was killed in action. His father's legacy has been turned into a storm-chasing tour business managed by the greedy and reckless Zane Rogers. After William runs away from home, he teams up with his dad's old partner, Roy, and enters into the world of storm chasing. But the tornadoes have only gotten bigger. Okay. I don't know if that's true. As his mother anxiously searches for her son, she's joined by his classmate in hopes of protecting William and Zane, as Zane leads the group deep into the eye of the most dangerous supercell ever seen. Yes. I love the idea that this movie is going to present the notion that tornadoes in the last 25 years have all gotten bigger on average. Like, all tornadoes are just bigger now. Everything's bigger.
Yeah. They're not F5s anymore.
They're F7s.
They're F6s and 7s and 10s. I only know that term from Twister, which I saw 20 years ago.
I'll be honest, like part of me expected this to be a Twister 2 and to say that the dad was Bill Paxton, but it's not.
Yeah, it sounds bad.
Yeah. I guess
I think we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. We should probably move on to TV news.
They didn't get Helen Hunt for the mum, so I guess maybe that's why it's not a sequel. Maybe if they got Helen Hunt, maybe they'd call it Twister 2. Twister 2 Supercell.
Hey, she did transfer. She's not above it.
That was the start of her career where she had to pretend to be attracted to Jack Death.
Jack Death, the only man I ever had sex with. That's a line from the movie.
Yeah, it's not a confession. Brightburn, producer, the H Collective, are going to adapt an ancient Chinese book of myths and legends, the classic of mountains and seas, into a feature film. What a weird thing to sort of read they're basing a movie on. So the classic of mountains and seas, also known as the Shanhai Jing, is largely a fabulous geographical and cultural account of the pre-Qin China, as well as a collection of Chinese mythology. The book recorded more than 40 countries, 550 mountains, and 300 waterways, along with the geographic and cultural information of nearby realms. So not a story per se, but there's a lot of stuff, mythology here to sort of build into a movie, potentially. Some of the creatures from this work apparently appeared in the Fantastic Beasts movies. So,
maybe the Dragon Kitty. I like that one.
I do not remember. But the final thing we have on the movie side of things is a trailer, interestingly, for a trilogy of movies, which we don't usually get before the first one comes out. But Netflix are doing this neat thing where they got the rights to an R.L. Stine trilogy of books called Fear Street. And they've actually made a trilogy which kind of, the fact that they're releasing them 1 week apart is really cool. It makes it more of a mini-series, although I'm going to correct myself there and say that the idea of a mini-series has always been kind of incorrect, and it's really just a pair of movies that go together given the length of them, because they're usually just 2 90-minute episodes. So this is cool. So it's a trilogy of movies. They're going to release 1 week apart, July 2nd, 9th and 16th. And they're all set in a different time period. The first one's set in 1994, and then the second one's 1978 or 7, and then the third time period is 1666. It's proper old times, and they're all set in the same town. But we got a trailer, more of a teaser, really. It's only a minute long. What did you think of the teaser?
I mean, it looks creepy. I like Goosebumps, the R.L. Stine books. I remember going to the bookstore and seeing his more young adult section and thinking that they looked too scary, and they were gonna, because Goosebumps were always an introduction into horror. But it'll be interesting. I like R.L. Stine and what he did for kid horror.
Yeah,
see what he can do for teenage horror, I guess.
There's a couple of actors from Stranger Things in the trailer, which is kind of neat. It maybe gives you a sense of the audience they're going for a little bit here. So it's not going to be hardcore horror, but it's trying to be terrifying. It's going to be more fun horror, perhaps. But we go backwards timeline-wise, so I assume it's going to be tracing back to the start of the curse or whatever that makes the serial killer that's in the I mean, I don't know what the plot of Fear Street is. I have no idea. I'm just going.
They did say it was cursed, a cursed town or something.
I'm just going from the fact that the first thing we see is someone being stabbed by a killer. So I'm assuming that we've got a killer, and then it's going to trace back, and I don't know, but it's fun. I don't know if assuming Tim's back and we're recording new episodes of Screams by the time this is coming out. I don't know if we would want to devote 3 episodes of that to this. So this might be something that I just do as a fun solo thing on the side, as reviewing these 3. But I'm definitely.
Could you just review all 3 together?
I could.
As a mini-series in whole?
I could. But I could also get 3 bits of content out of it.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
More clicks.
The content.
Yeah, more clicks, more content. You gotta smash the like buttons and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe he'd be interested in doing it.
It looks potentially fun. Although Netflix often make really bland things, so there's a concern that it'll just feel bland.
Yeah, the trailer's decent though.
The trailer looks okay for what it is though. For the tone that it seems to be trying to hit, it seems fine. So,
which one are you looking forward to the most?
Probably the 78 one, just because it sort of is close.
It looks like that indie horror age that we like.
Yeah, but 90s is not bad as well though, because it's that's my childhood era, so there's sort of a nostalgia there too. The one that's got has everything to prove is the 1660s, because am I just going to feel like I'm watching people in a bunch of costumes, or you
never know.
So
what was that? Witch was really good.
Well, yes, you brought up the one amazing example of a movie in that time period. But yeah, so there you go. That's the movies. TV. So we had news last week or so of the actor who was cast to play Guy Gardner in the Green Lantern TV show. On this news, we have the story of the person who's in negotiations. Jeremy Irvin is in talks to join the show as Alan Scott, who is the Golden Age Green Lantern, who will be set in the 40s, and he'll be a secretly gay Green Lantern in a time period that is even less welcoming to that news. So that's cool. His character is one of the most exciting things as a DC fan for this show. So it's just nice to see that that's going along. I don't know the guy from anything. He was in Treadstone, which is the Bourne spin-off TV show, but I never saw it. So
they're doing multiple lanterns for the show?
Yeah, there's multiple time periods. So there's like a 80s time period, which will be Guy Gardner, and there's like a 40s time period, which will be Alan Scott.
So everybody gets their favorite Green Lantern.
Well, no, Jessica Cruz isn't in it, so I'm not getting my favorite. But
not yet.
No, I mean not yet. Yeah, but there's the scope to add the newer ones as well.
And maybe Dexter.
That is true. Dexter could theoretically at some point show up in this show. Now, the fact that it's not focusing on Hal Jordan makes me think maybe not, because the whole like different color cores and different lantern types tend to be more tied to the modern stuff. But you never know. It's possible.
More Kitty. Thank you.
I'm sure he's in the Green Lantern animated show. I never watched it, but I'm sure Dexter shows up in that. Cool. Speaking of animated shows, we have 2 new announced animated shows for DC. Batman Caped Crusader, which includes executive producer Bruce Timm, along with Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams. But Bruce Timm, of course, worked on the original Batman the Animated Series, which is why this is particularly notable.
And used to be my neighbor for a very short period of time.
What a weird and specific bit of trivia that you just threw out there.
Well, I mean, he was my friend's neighbor, but I had to live there for a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm counting it.
All right, that's fine. I'll accept it. Mm-hmm. Did you know who he was at the time?
No.
Okay.
But he had very cool garage sales.
Yeah, because he had lots of random like art and stuff, probably.
Yeah, but I wasn't into that stuff at the time.
I'm too cool for this nerdy stuff.
Although I'm not really into it now, but
if you got one at a good price that you could frame, like have one cool bit of nerdy Batman art or something, I'm sure you'd.
But Matt Reeves is involved too. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
And J.J. Abrams. I mean, that's a name.
Yeah. So it's a reimagining of the Batman mythology. This is a HBO Max show. So. It's also going to be on Cartoon Network, which makes sense. They own both. Why not? Just some quotes about it. It's always fun to feed the insatiable appetite that fans have for all things Batman. Batman Caped Crusader will entertain first-time and die-hard fans alike. And with such an impressive creative team in place, we know that another future Batman classic in the making. Says Batman animated series was a masterpiece that shaped the perception of the character for an entire generation, and in that spirit we're trying to bring together some storytellers for this. So this feels potentially, because there's been a lot of Batman animated shows since the original animated series, which have all been more kid focused and haven't had the same cred that the first one did, or indeed that most shows don't get the cred that first Batman show did. This sounds potentially like the most like the biggest attempt since to actually sort of create another great animated series for Batman. We'll see if it actually follows through, but given how good I hear Harley Quinn is, the animated show that's on HBO Max, maybe
I've heard good things.
Maybe they do want to actually build like good animated shows that they want people to like get the service for, because they like DC characters, and the animated shows are a self. I mean, even Young Justice, which is really good, they gave more seasons to for it was DC Universe at the time. Now it's HBO Max, but so maybe maybe they do want to like really create something that'll draw people in. And on that same vein, they've also ordered a new Superman animated show called where is it? My Life with Superman? My Adventures with Superman, that's the title. It follows Lois Lane and Superman in their 20s, along with Jimmy Olsen, and they begin to discover who they are and everything they can accomplish together in an investigative news team. There's an image that's along with this. It looks very bright and colourful, and the usual crowd on the internet will probably be very upset that Jimmy is well, he's not white. I don't know specifically what race he is. The article might have it somewhere down deep down, but you know the types we're talking about when I say that people will be upset about that.
Yeah.
So they're doing a new Superman show, which I like the Superman animated series as well. The one they did after the Batman one was also pretty good, but not as iconic and not as lasting reputation wise. But
something for the fans then. Excellent. I have no opinion. I don't watch these shows.
I know you don't. We'll move on. You don't watch Brilliant 99, but this is just a quick thing to tell you that the final season will start airing on the 12th of August, which is a Thursday.
I've seen episodes, and it is funny.
It's a good show. It's a really, it gets surprisingly deep. I mean, the fact that they threw out all the scripts because the reason why this is so late, because it's been a while since the last season, they threw out all the scripts they'd written, 4 or 5 of them, because of everything that happened last summer with George Floyd. They basically said, you know what, we're not doing these scripts, we're doing something that addresses this topic, which is a really bold thing for a sitcom that's meant to be funny to do. So, yeah.
Gonna take a stand. That's all right.
So we'll see. Yeah, but it's the final season, 8th and final season. It's only 10 episodes, so it's not a lot. For a 20-minute show, that's not a lot. Like, that'll fly in super quick. But they do get to have an ending. They know it's their last season, and that's the important thing. So, cool. Amazon are doing a big show called The Wheel of Time, which we've known for a while. This is based in the books.
Yeah.
You've heard of this, yeah?
I read the first book.
Oh, yeah.
I was too intimidated to read the rest.
Well, the news today is that they have renewed it for season 2 before season 1's even like sniffing a release date. So they are feeling confident about this.
Yeah. It's a big epic. A lot of readers love it.
I mean, they've got.
It's pretty exciting to get into.
It's amazing that they've got Lord of the Rings coming as well, but they already had this in the works, so they've got 2 big fantasy potential like money makers.
I'm excited for it, for both really, because I mean I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this news comes as well as season 1 just finished shooting in the Czech Republic, so they've just finished shooting season 1. They've renewed it for season 2, so I imagine that means we're probably going to see for season 1 within a year now that they've finished shooting it. But
for Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time, yeah. So, cool.
No Lord of the Rings news?
Not today. I don't typically get into fantasy, but I'll give it a fair chance.
Yeah, I mean, this one's such like a epic book series that, you know, people really, really love that. And yeah, I remember enjoying the first book from when I read it, but just being like too intimidated by all the books to continue, because the author like did some prequels like in the middle of them and then went back to it, and by the time you get to book 12 you're like, do I remember these characters that I'm supposed to know?
There's a lot
from book 2.
What you're saying is even if they condense some stuff, there's a lot of material for a lot of seasons of TV is what you're saying.
And I'm pretty sure he died before the book series was done, but then like a fan wrote the rest. I don't know, people could correct me. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So
okay,
yeah,
here's something you're interested in. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Always.
So Netflix has given an 8-episode order to an entitled series. It's a global spy adventure, a 1-hour show starring Arnold, and this is kind of his first proper like TV like show. Really, he's never really done like a. Obviously, he's on The Apprentice and stuff, but like a scripted TV show. So yeah, this is a Skydance TV thing. Netflix landed it. It's also going to star Monica Barbaro, who's in Top Gun Maverick. We can't really give an opinion on that because that's not out yet.
I know, it had such a good trailer too.
Well,
I'm excited for it.
It's coming this year. So, created by Nick Santora. When a father, played by Arnold, and daughter, played by Barbaro. Am I saying that? I'm saying Barbaro like Adrian. Well, no, that's Barbo. Yeah. But I'm kind of like thinking of that name as I'm saying it, and I'm maybe like adding like a different syllable sound at the end. Anyway, So father and daughter learn that they've each secretly been working as CIA operatives for years. They realize their entire relationship has been a lie, and they truly don't know one another at all. Forced to team up as partners, our series tackles universal family dynamics set against a global backdrop of spies, fantastic action, and humour. So it's basically kid-friendly True Lies, the TV show.
I'm into it.
It's just a shame they didn't do this a long time ago with a young Elijah Dushku, because she actually played the daughter in True Lies. That could have been entertaining. And obviously bring back Jamie Lee Curtis while we're there. Basically, I wish this was a True Lies show with all the cast from True Lies, but I'll take Arnold doing a new take on it.
Yeah, I mean, you want action and humor. It doesn't get much better than Arnold.
Hell, I would, obviously, sadly, Bill Paxton, our Lord and Savior, has passed away, but I would have loved like a whole TV show of just his sleazy car salesman trying to like pick up chicks with like just stupid stories of like who he is and why he's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And just have Arnold cameo every week and just makes him wet himself every time he like. That happened at the end of the movie. I'm not being weird.
Nope.
So
his poor admission.
Yeah. Bill Paxton, he can deliver a line, man.
He was great.
He's
man.
so good in that movie. Even Tom Arnold's great in that movie. Like, you know, Trilogy. Where's my Blu-ray? Where's the HD version of Trilogy? I mean, I want the Abyss even more, but Trilogy needs it as well. Like, they're stuck in standard definition land, and it is so depressing.
Come on, Cameron, you have some pull here.
Yeah, Cameron, take a day, sign off on the new transfers, and let me see it, and let me watch the Abyss again. We need to do it in Ace. The second they release a high quality version of the Abyss, we're doing it on Ace. Like, there's no question. Like, that's just the reason to do it.
Let's hope that the show lasts that long.
It'll last. We'll find movies to keep doing. They'll keep making movies. It's fine. All right, Jenny Ortega from Yes Day and Jane the Virgin has been tapped for the title role in Wednesday. What do you think that is?
It's about Addams Family?
It is. It's a Wednesday Addams film by Tim Burton.
Oh, by Tim Burton.
Yes. So
I guess he's got to do something for work.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday TV show for Netflix, based on Wednesday Addams.
Has he ever done anything with the Addams Family? Like, it seems like the first thing he would do.
Didn't he just do something?
There was that Addams Family animated film that came out, but I don't know if that was him.
I don't think that was him. He did Dark Shadows, which was based on another TV show, but yeah, I don't think I ever did.
That was a soap opera.
Do you know, I mean, I enjoy the Addams Family movies. I do have to admit though, as much as I hate Tim Burton stuff, he is kind of perfect for a take on the Addams Family of some capacity. So, you know,
it just seems like, like you think of Addams Family and you think of his style.
Yes. That said, though, I don't know how much he's actually going to be involved, like, ongoing, because, like, he's not even he's like a producer on the show, so maybe he'll direct the first episode or something, and that'll be it. Like, he'll go away. Not the showrunners or the creators here is better news. Actually, I think he's going to direct all the episodes, by the sounds of it. So, I mean, fair enough, he's going to have a big influence then. But the creators of the show are Al Gough and Miles Miller, who are actually the showrunners and creators of Smallville, which was terrible. So it's not exactly, high praise. But the show is a coming-of-age comedy. It's a sleuthing, supernaturally infused mystery charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at the Nevermore Academy. That's where she attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart monsters, killing spree that has terrorized the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and very tangled relationships. Oh, great. The relationships, of course. We have to have the boyfriend and whatever else.
It seems impossible to not have Christina Ricci just because she seemingly was born to play Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, we have her. I mean... Also, Mercedes McNabb, Harmony from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, was the snotty blonde in the second movie at the camp who kept giving her shit. Yeah, if you had those two actors doing that as a TV show, I'd be watching that. I think the other thing
that was a really funny part of the film. I think that was the second movie.
Yeah, that's the second. That's Values. Yeah, that's the one because they're doing like a play for Thanksgiving, and she like causes
Everyone
chaos.
Has like, she's got all the blood.
Yeah.
Those are funny movies. I watched those just like a year ago or so for
But
Halloween.
on top of that, like, you know, the reason why we only had 2 movies is because, unfortunately, Raul Julia, who played, you know,
I know
Gomez, he passed away very young. And honestly, yeah, like for me, it's like, yeah, he was Gomez, and I don't necessarily want to see another Gomez after that. So, but hey, this is happening. People might be into it. Cool. There you go. So that's Wednesday, as in Wednesday Addams. All right, you're going to hate this story, right? But I have to mention it. Because it's wrestling related. So
Okay.
But it's not like wrestling storyline stuff. I never bring that up as news because there's no point in talking about it. No one else cares. This is like TV stuff. So AEW's show Dynamite is on Wednesdays on TNT. The big news this week is that at the start of 2022, it's moving to TBS. Part of the reason for this is because it keeps getting preempted by sports during the summer because the NBA is bigger or whatever. And plus, TNT's got a big new hockey contract, so that's also going to affect it. But the big news is, I'm just watching Tara's face get more and more annoyed at me. But the big news is that they're adding a second show, a 1-hour show on Fridays called Rampage, which will start this August on TNT, but it'll move to TBS with Dynamite at the start of 2022. And then the other news is that when it does move to TBS, there will still be 4 special shows a year on TNT, which is calling supercard shows, which are effectively TV pay-per-views. So they'll still serve as destinations for like conclusions to storylines and things like that. But if you're a fan of AEW, this is mostly exciting news because there's more of it, which is nice. But it was too big not to mention. I'll leave it there. I don't have to talk about it anymore. That's it. That's us.
It's fine.
That's it. I'm
happy for all the fans.
I saw the eyes glaze over. I saw. Yeah, and the other part of it is apparently they got they're getting paid more for the TV rights now because of the move. Because they've been forced to move to another channel, they're getting paid like a bonus effectively for having to do that. So I think all in all, it's working out okay for them. Yeah, money's good. Sigourney Weaver. You like Sigourney Weaver? Yeah. She's going to lead an adaptation of Holly Ringland's book, The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. This is for Amazon, so this is an Amazon show. They've ordered the show already. It's an Australian novel. It's a debut novel as well. It's going to be 7 episodes. It is a tale of female resilience, friendship, and power to overcome tragedy. It is produced by Made Up Stories, Amazon Studios, and Endeavour Content.
I always am going to approve of a powerful female message. Not being sarcastic, I'm just tired.
No, but I'm starting to enjoy the struggle it's taking to get to the end of a sentence. I really am. Next up, Rebecca Ferguson is going to star in a show.
I like her too.
Yeah, from Mission Impossible. She's going to be in the new Dune movie, which we'll be reviewing on the Ace later this year, so look forward to that.
She was Rose the Hat.
She was also Rose the Hat, that is correct. She also looks a lot like the Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is actually relevant for later on, so keep that in your heads.
Not that much later on, though, right?
No, not too later on.
Okay.
Apple TV Plus has ordered a show here. It's called Wool, based on Hugh Howey's
It's a book, right?
dystopian novel series, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know
I've
stuff.
heard good things.
You know things.
Yeah, it's like a trilogy. There's like wool, wood, something else. Like they're all based on materials.
Are they all just one letter different as well? Wool, wood, and...
I don't know if wood's one of them. It's something like it's like some kind of textile though.
Okay. Yeah, Wool is set in a ruined and toxic future where a community exists in a giant silo underground, hundreds of stories deep. There, men and women live in a society full of regulations they believe are meant to protect them. Ferguson will star as Juliet, an independent and hardworking engineer. Hey, I'm always down for more sci-fi shows, and
yeah, it's been on my reading list, but I haven't gotten to it.
I'm into the concept. It does sound a little Logan's Run, and it actually sounds a little bit like the future that's described in Travelers. We never see it because that's a present day show about the time travelers who come back to the present. But I'm getting some vibes of that there. But it talked about regulations to make them feel safe. I was getting a little bit of Logan's Run in some ways. Okay, we'll move on. We'll move on.
Thanks.
Yes. Vampire Academy, a young adult novel, is getting a TV show. Julia Plec, who created The Vampire Diaries and the originals, the spin-off, is going to adapt The Vampire Academy into a show for Peacock, who have ordered it straight to series. So, it's 10-episode order. Vampire Academy is a series of books, 6 in total, from author Rochelle Mead. It is a story of romance, friendship, death, sex, and scandal. In a world of privilege and glamour, two young women's friendship transcends the strikingly different classes as they prepare to complete their education and Royal Vampire Society. The serialized drama combines the elegance of the aristocratic romance and the supernatural thrills of the vampire genre.
Sounds hot. I couldn't be more disinterested.
Yeah, I'm not interested. It sounds super young adult. It sounds like, I never saw Vampire Diaries, but it looks like something I would hate. So
yeah, but you love vampire shows.
I love technically two, I suppose, vampire shows in particular. Yes, that's true.
Kind of a young adult vampire show.
They're not young adult, right? Not everything based around teenagers is young adult and its audience demographic. Okay.
I think Buffy was.
Okay, well, if it is, then it's the example of young adult with good writing and therefore is not tedious and annoying to watch. Like,
so you're saying there's a chance?
Bite me. Next up, John Bernthal, Josh Charles, and Jamie Hector have been cast in HBO's We Own This City. It's a limited series from The Wire's David Simon, so a lot of cred behind this in terms of personnel. It is a 6-hour limited series chronicling the rise and fall of Baltimore Police Department's Gun Trace Task Force and the corruption and moral collapse that befell the American city, in which the policies of drug prohibition and mass arrests were championed at the expense of actual police work. So this is a very The Wire-esque subject for David Simon to tackle. I assume it's going to be very well researched, very well written character drama. This is probably going to be excellent. This will definitely be something that'll be worth looking at when it hits HBO. So we have a couple of trailers to wrap up with then. I'm just letting Tara know that we're nearing the end signs here, because the poor woman is struggling to keep upright. So the first one is not Netflix, Disney Plus's The Mysterious Benedict Society, starring Tony Hale, where he assembles a bunch of quirky kids in his private school because he wants to use them to take on a supervillain who happens to be his twin brother, also played by Tony Hale. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was adorable and funny, and I think Tony Hale is the perfect person to cast in this as like a Willy Wonka-esque, quirky with kids, but not in like a pervy way.
Not in a good advice, that last part. Yeah, I would say the only thing about this is that some of the jokes didn't land for me. There's a joke early on with the teacher where she says, you'll be executed instead of excused.
Oh,
and
I giggled at that.
I thought that was a little
funny.
bit forced, but I'm not against this, and I think the comparison that may hurt it, because what I'm going to compare this to when it comes to this sort of tone would be Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix, which was actually very good, and it also happened to have Tony Hale in it a little bit. He was only in a few episodes, but he was very good when he did pop up, and it was a very fun show that was surprisingly very witty and just really pleasant and just nice to watch, and struck a great tone. And if this can approach that in terms of quality, then great. But
I think it can. I mean, Tony Hale's worked, I know, with DreamWorks a lot, and does like a TV show. Like, I think he has an animated show that he works with them for. I don't know. Like, it's a word on the street anyway. So, he's got experience in working with the kid shows before. And I want to say he like wrote a kid's book. Maybe it was just a kid's cartoon.
I don't know if he's creatively behind it, but he's playing two roles. So,
and he's Buster Bluth. He's adorable with his wigs.
Yes, he got his wigs at Army. So this is coming out on the 25th of June, so just about a month.
We made 2 Arrested Development jokes today. Great.
So there you go. You can check out the trailer for that if you want. And then the other trailer to wrap up the show, something that Tara's going to have very little opinion on, but that's okay. But something that is very, very, of course, close to something that I am interested in, which is in the Netflix trailer for their new animated series, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is a horrible title. Came with a release date as well.
Looks like the video games, though.
Of the 8th of July. I mean, yeah, it's CG animated, so obviously it can look very video gamey. What's really weird, so they've got the voice cast, the Leon and Claire, who are both in this, who are from Resident Evil 2. They've got the voice actors from the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is not a bad thing, because they were very good in that. Claire especially was really, really well done. So it's nice to hear her voice again. Leon looks like a grown-up version of Leon in that game. Because keep in mind, that game is set in 1998, so, you know, they're 20 years older. Claire, though, looks really... Because if you look at Claire in Resident Evil 2 Remake, she looks a little bit like Rebecca Ferguson, which is why I brought that up earlier. She's got kind of the Rebecca Ferguson mouth. And her mouth in this is, like, morphed into something completely... It's really weird. She looks so different. Although, she noticeably still dresses the exact same way. She's got a red jacket... And that's how she still dresses. She's kept her colour scheme. But, yeah, so it seems to be a bit of a conspiracy that there's another outbreak of some kind, you know, a zombie virus happening somewhere. But for some reason, the government seem to be trying to cover it up. And Claire's like a reporter trying to investigate it.
It looks a little bit like was it Resident Evil 5, where they're in Africa? Because it's got like a Black Hawk Down opening.
There's a little bit of a Black Hawk Down at the start, yeah. We get a tease of what I assume is going to be the final boss enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool that they've got Leon and Claire. I mean, I watched the first animated movie they did a few years ago, and I didn't think it was good. I thought it was just...
Is it the same people?
I don't actually know. I couldn't remember for the life of me who did that first movie. But, yeah. Oh, I should mention, though, this is set in 2006. This series, which means they're not 20 years older. It means they're about 8 years older, which, you know, okay. Fair enough. Which also, I think that puts it 1 year after Resident Evil 4, just to put it in timeline with Leon's like next appearance, so that's interesting. And a few years after Code Veronica, so I'm mumbling to myself because I know the games.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect from this. Like, how's it going to be paced episode to episode? Like, how much zombie action can you have in each episode if we're going to be doing the conspiracy thing? Is it going to be a thing where Leon gets into the actual zombie outbreak and he's doing all the action, where Claire's doing all the conspiracy investigation stuff in a subplot? That'll annoy me because Claire's the better character, and everyone who thinks Leon's the best Resident Evil character is a fool, and you're all wrong, and on the wrong side of history. But there you go. So, I mean, the animation quality looks fine, I would say.
If you asked me a question, I didn't hear it because I pulled out my headphone.
It wasn't a question, but I mean, I sort of like left it for you to give your opinion on the animation quality as well.
Oh, it looks like a really, really good video game. It still looks like a video game. It looks animated, but it's like incredibly detailed. Yeah,
let's
like one of the new Call of Duties or something.
Yeah, let's get a bunch of video game cutscenes, which isn't necessarily bad, but I admit, like, I'm not as into animated usually at glance.
It called it an anime, like an American anime or something, right? In the trailer?
I think they said that. I mean, technically, you know, Resident Evil from Capcom, you know, is a Japanese company, so I guess technically it is an anime. If you count anything animated from Japan as anime, then I guess technically it is.
All right, well, good night, guys. Good show.
So thank you very much for joining us. You can like and subscribe. It is the simple and easy way to support everything we do here on the channel. It'll help us find more people. You can also, of course, get us on the Twitters at @mail_Fuzz for channel updates. And if you want to support us financially, you can do that over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV for as little as $1 per month and get some bonuses for your troubles. But otherwise, that is that is us. But thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. And we will see you next time.